So she handed me in this blanket and I've just kept it that way. So see how I'm just doing all that head and shoulder work that we worked on. I'm just, again, bringing his shoulder down on the right. Just giving him a little detail, sort of what I just did under Ann's elbow. Hopefully you guys are starting to see a bit more detailed work. So I don't have to do left, right, left, right. So all I'm doing right now on my right, and you can sneak under here and look if you want, but I'm just light rotation with my right hand and just letting that come down. Just doing that detailed work. I'm right about C7-ish, upper thorax, going across the scapulas as far as that's concerned. I'm just feeling the quality of his movement. Even though, again, I was gabbing away, I was just enjoying the quality of movement in Ann's arm. I still was making it functional touch, but I was just seeing, the more and more on right here, C7, there he goes. His profile, I keep saying profiles, processes didn't want to cross midline. So with that, I've got both hands now within C7. And even though he's keeping level, my fingers are sliding back and forth very, very long or slowly, just crossing that. And again, you'll see babies kind of do that. They kind of sway. Well, we think sway is with the head, but just try it. If you can just sway with your upper back and see what that feels like within the spine. That's the quality of movement that I'm just trying to bring out. Now with that, yes, with the newborn assessment, it is all good. With the newborn assessment, if that's all I'm doing right now is just staying with both the head rotation and make sure that's neutral and enjoyable. It's okay if I hang out. I don't have to sit there and do a boom assessment and then, now again, if you're a doctor or you're doing it more clinically, then yeah, do an assessment. That's it, see. Oh. How's he doing, by the way? Yeah? A little bit less fussy?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he is.
Like you can enjoy him a little bit?
Yeah, I've started to use his sleep.
Okay.
And he actually sleeps on me now.
Okay.
But then just wanting to feed and then sleep.
But start bringing him to where he can go from that distance like this to lay down. Oh, look at that. See, yeah, people came to the party. Not to say he's not allowed to sleep on you, but the more variations you can give him is great.
Yeah.
So now I'm letting the table give me my rotation. I'm just checking how he's bringing his elbows down to the table, how his wrists are crossing midline. I get it that his little paws are kind of covered, but you get this. Oh my goodness. Oh. Do you see more how his eyes are starting to work? Right? At about 17 days old, that's when they start to get a little bit more focused. But see, him, there's no particular, he's going in and out of vision. Does that make more sense? Now at this stage, right now, mom and dad, grandparents, whoever's close to him and stuff will be most interesting. So it'll look like he's holding his gaze longer, but his vision still can't create a movement in that sense. Does that make sense?
His vision cannot create movement.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he can't get high hand now, he can't get, now at 3 weeks old, he should be able to start, if something came over him, which we're not gonna do right now, start to track. And I have a really good video on this, on vision for the first month of life. But I really want you to see that equilibrium, that eye of just working on where that body is within space. So the more opportunity that the child has to quote cross midline and work within its field of the skull, not vision, it helps sets up better. So try not to think of vision all the time as the actual action of seeing something. They have to know, that they have to be able to work for you to have sight.
But the eye still moves the scalp, the head.
Well,
The movement of the eye, and as the eye moves, the head moves.
he's not there just yet. He's doing it much more systematically. Right now, he does not know he has purposeful vision enough to say, let's go.
He doesn't.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
But I mean, under that, that's what's happening though, is the eye moves, the head moves. Not that he knows that, but.
No,
can
right
see
now, at this point, he's getting his vestibular system is equilibrium. But yes, under a year of age, when the eye and head tracking are, synchronized, and then around a year of age, 10 months to a year, 10 months if you're fortunate, but around a year of age, the eyes separate from head movement. But it looks like he's looking around, therefore bringing his head, but if you actually look at his motions and feeling, right now it's his spine moving, creating head movement. I should say spine being most dominant. His whole body's moving in vision. Everything that he's doing with the head movements is or should be countered through the whole body. See, pelvic, pubic bones crossing midline to coccyx, all those things. So now I'm slowly going down his spine, checking the rotation there. Sorry.
And that's why the hip to head is exactly that main
Yep.
establishing of the
Just like a little boat in the water.
just like
You should see as I move the head, there should be synchronized movement throughout the body, just like a bowl of water, just like if I'm putting a rock in the water. So yes, he's kicking and squirming and doing, quote, those actions around me, but no matter how I move, do you see him? You can see where my hands are moving this child, but everything gets countered just like a pool of water, if it's a healthy nervous system. Now I'm going down a little bit, down along the spine. Now again, his head's torqued out. I don't care. I don't have him direct center. And I'll come over. And you can see I can do this nicely through a blanket. Someone can come to me with a coat or a blanket on. I can still give them a lesson. I can do head down and head back a little bit. Alright. But see, he kind of saw me but didn't see me. It wasn't like, oh lady, who are you? It's not there yet. Now in a week from now, see? See how that's too much for the eyes? He kind of gives me vision and then he's going back again. But he can't purposely give me vision. Does that make sense? Can you see that? But he needs to be, guess what? Opportunities that he can keep exploring that. And if he's in a fixed car seat, especially if he's got padding around his head and so forth, what do you think's going to happen to all of that? And for some kids, that lawnmower might be enough of a stimulation, and that's something to keep an eye on, because as you can see, that's not a response he's giving to that stimuli. Yeah, there go the hiccups. I was telling my boys, you're growing. But you see how much nicer his nervous system is today than a couple of days ago. His legs are laying down and stuff. I know it's probably hard for you to remember, but when you actually see a back-to-back, it's going to be like there's two different kids here. Oh, here we go, and now we've just filled a diaper, or close to it. That's why they call it movement lesson. My mother always wanted me to change my name because it sounded, or actually it was more than, excuse me, the ABM was like, it sounds more like BM. That's it. Gonna go back down under, and now I'm gonna be checking the hips a bit more. See, I'm going all the way down here now. See, I want that asymmetrical. Going in here, seeing it. The twist, the pelvis. So he would have scored so much higher just 3 days ago as far as an at-risk for development versus now. See how he can just counter at asymmetrical countering, really nice flow. But guess what? This is climbing up the stairs. You see all that moves we've been working on? It's there in babies. You just gotta pull it out of them or show him how to do it. Yeah, he looks way more like you than he does me. Look at that. See that slow, that whole, see? There you go. But see what his body did to eliminate, you know? Was that a moral response? You know what I mean? He just, no, but I mean, I'll let him go now so he can change him. I'm always, I hate the acid against the skin, but again, I'm sure he'd be fine and comfortable, but we're gonna go for a diaper change. But see how that whole, does that make more sense? He went all the way out and eliminated. So.
Did you do much with your left hand while you were working lower, like counter?
Zero. She get Madsen out. This poor thing's been in a cubby now for a week. So when I'm here doing something like this, right? So Cyril's not as compliant. So what I'm doing here when I'm working, and it is nice, I think, when you see it through the blanket versus, again, because, so I'm holding a child like this, let's say. So I've got C7, I've got around the whole head, I'm all along the shoulder girdle. At any point, just like we worked with the head back and forth, I can slide down, slide up, depending on what they're doing. Two things I don't allow happen. If the baby, let's say, which he was more at, what was it, Monday when he came? I don't know. Life's a blur. I wouldn't let him do more same. So what you have to watch, if a child's pre-CP-ish, they're gonna do more here. I don't want the fall to happen, right? So everything that I'm doing right now, he's just like, and countering me. So what I'm doing here is, the left is still gauging and allowing his movements to happen, but I'm allowing, so as he's countering this way, I'm still doing this little bitty and letting him float within it. So I'm just, so to you, see, I would be bringing that system here. So when I said two, and oh, look, he's going over to his elbows and over to his elbows, that I can start working down and up, but just allowing those eyes just to continue that, what did you say, more like a drunken look, that oh, you know, and just, so he'll come in to, let's say, kind of look at me, but it's not, so like if I was picking on you, I kind of like, right? So I'll do to all of you. So see how, again, I don't have binocular vision. My eyes are out. So I'm kind of like, but that's right now what a baby would be doing at this stage.
You look like Pinocchio.
So, but it's not like, oh, and that's not happening now. But if you only saw that was starting to happen, I can guarantee you now you're already starting to see a stiff, let's say if I'm more here to the right, then you'd start seeing now more a spastic, stiff, or whatever, or non-responsive left arm. Because those ocular muscles, if they kick in, then it's going to, that's how the counter's gonna start looking. Does that make more sense now? Mm-hmm. And you could see that to him on Monday, when we were seeing more startles, mm-hmm. but as the eyes were doing, this, so were the hands and the body. Mm-hmm. So again, to say it was the eyes making the body do that, it's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a vestibular system. So when the muscles are kicking in somewhere that they're not supposed to, the counter response has to be the muscles need to kick in someplace else to counter that momentum. Just like that water bottle slosh.
But you'd expect to see that in a newborn.
What?
In a very newborn, you'd expect to see that like.
No, he should be looking more like today. Just this sort of like, because again, he's 85% liquid. He's got no calcification. He should have no muscle responses. So anything that I do with a newborn should be much more like today. That happy-go-lucky, oh, as I go to the right, his body counters to the left. That nature, that water kicking in, I should not have. Now, I'm not saying this child's never going to startle. Yes, he went full on, but it wasn't a startle. He pooed. He put his whole body into that elimination. You know, we sit down and we just go, poop, poop, you know.
He's got nothing wrong with him. So
What?
He's got nothing wrong with him.
No, but had he come in, that baby, on Monday and not had lessons, he would have been a more hyper child, less consoling, harder to get him to read a book, harder to get him to, quote, pay attention, right? He would have been a more high-maintenance child. Look at the stress the parents were under on Monday, just trying to get him to calm down. So the only thing the mom knows how to do is to breastfeed. So now he's not, quote, eating as much. You know what I mean?
Or have better quality meals or something like that.
Right, but he's not looking to, if he doesn't have intelligence yet, why is he looking to self-soothe? Or the parents are, that's all they know to get him to stop doing those movements, even for just a little bit.
But would there be a reason why he's got that?
Well, the reason is probably because of a C-section possibly, or whatever. You already forget his history, but yes, that environment plays a role in this. And sometimes it is just, again, why did your back hurt the other day? You know what I mean? Did someone come over and clobber you, or you just move? No, but I'm just saying, you move one bit the wrong way, and affects your whole body.
Yeah. If you're with a,
But you didn't have a car
obviously,
accident,
winning
let's say.
newborn is really emotive. So if you were with a client and you were doing that assessment, what would you say to them if you saw that sort of movement? Would you?
Oh, that's why I went right into a lesson and then two that hurt their back.
And then you
Yeah.
wait a couple of days to see if it. If it carried on.
Even you don't have to wait a couple of days. If this is your neighbor's child, you could have done. But with the thing is, what I'm trying to show you, if you do this for a baby, you're going to change your life instantly.
Straight away.
But because if I'm a day old and I get a lesson, you've just changed 100% of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm over 50. You give me a lesson, what are you changing really mathematically in my life? 1/1000th of a, and I've calcified. I have mental cognitive formation as well as, quote, body responses.
But you changed your scoliosis, did you? How much did you
Oh,
take?
yeah. My before and afters were, I still have these 3 vertebrae if anybody wants to give it a go. If I had an outer body experience for an hour just to fix me, you know, it's still, because I'm just about to hear, but I can't transfer movement through that part of my spine.
But some people say it's not possible to change the scoliosis.
Oh my gosh, I haven't put it out there because, again, I had a little girl came into me with 54 degrees and in 1 week she was down to 14. I have all before and afters. I haven't done that. That's going to be a case study, which I just, again, I need to plot it out. But you can change scoliosis. Even Stuart just posted Cezanne. Cezanne had a car accident. Here, let's get the baby back. A car accident when he was 9 years old, traumatic brain injury, 2 years in the hospital. So he came to me with 100% fixed spine, and his scoliosis was at a 77%. And in 1 week, we got him down to 69% and 90% flexible. But he's in and out around 54 to 60%, which is still not great, but he's not progressing. And he never had to be rotted. And when you're vegetative, I mean, since he's been seeing me now almost 8 years, it's one of my oldest consistent clients per se. He comes twice a week. We'll break off a little bit, then have an intensive, but go back to the weekly. And I'm all yours, whenever. He has never had pneumonia. He's never been in the hospital. He's never had a seizure. If he needs to eat. Usually they found an empty space, they like to fill it.
Yeah.
It's just
He was going to.
trying to latch. see that belly go across, that belly I was teaching you yesterday? See that belly just, even though he's crying, see how the belly is separate from the cry. Ours starts to get manipulated and they'll come into... You think you'll try pacifying for a second? Or you don't have it with you?
I do, but he's not here.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it, don't worry. But see, even this now, do you see the difference? I hate to pick on him when he's crying. But you see though how he rotates now, whereas before when he was crying, I couldn't get at him. Do you see the difference now from Monday? I can still do the assessment. See? He's moving around the crying.
Can I ask you something? When you were doing this, you would say, now sometimes you might notice that the baby, the very young might go into a
Well, no, I will say they'll startle, but
and that's what you'll have, that's how you'll see, that's what you'll see.
oh, whoa, well,
So I was just
spasticity,
asking-
well, I'll see is they're actually trying to use muscle. That's different than a startle.
Yeah, so they're trying to use muscle.
Right.
And if you see that happen with a very young child, something else.
Oh, yeah. There's no, as in the eyes, and I think the eyes are just most obvious, you should not be able to see muscle function. So,
So if you do see it, you're saying that to,
we're in trouble.
yeah, you're in trouble, and what needs to happen is somehow that muscle function needs to go somewhere else, did you say?
It shouldn't have a muscle function.
No.
He should just be in a passive phase right now, that he's just responding in a
Yeah.
weight transfer.
Yeah.
When you use muscle function, then you can't experience the weight transfer.
Right.
So you're going to a load lift variation system, which is what we all do. We pick up our kids, we don't weight transfer, but even a 2-year-old, sorry to pick on Cyril, but this is, I'd say, a 2-year-old right now with a baby doll. You will not see, oh my God, it's so heavy, Madison. You will not see this, right? A 2-year-old will be here, they carry it, right? Because it's a weight transfer. And so that's what they try and do with their little brothers. You'll see this 2-year-old like, I mean, you get it, right? And they're like, Mommy, she's crying. You're like, no, don't put the baby up like that. That's what I'm saying, don't let a 2-year-old take the dishes to the sink because they're not in this mode yet. They're still in a weight transfer based system.
Yeah.
So if you look and stuff, when they go down and up, that squat is all as a weight transfer. They're not dropping to the floor and getting up. Now we can do that. But if you watch a baby, they're much more, like this and in and, like the movement doesn't, they can be here, they can be here, but it's all equal. Just like they learned when they were babies, that the finger movement should be pushing away gravity. It's all like this equal flow. I'm not saying a baby never falls down, they will when they're learning how to get up, but they have a tempo within their system. And you really should see this in infants, that they just have this nice, delightful tempo that no matter what you do with them, they're just going for a ride with your movements. But if you're seeing grasp hands, right, and you're going to move them and they start to, where I don't get this boat-like quality or this like they're just traveling on air, that you'll start to see, I can only get the child to, like, they won't cross midline through their nose. If you're starting to say those kind of words, that child definitely needs lessons now, not later to see what will happen. Because if I can't cross midline, let's say with my vision or my nose or whatever static thing that you're looking at, they're not going to suddenly do it on their own. What they'll start doing is that where you'll start to see the back arching. A baby will actually learn to do this, to see you, when this was much easier.
That was Isla.
Yeah,
That was Isla.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. And you can see her pictures of the torticollis too if you want, when you have a second. But they're smart little buggers. And so, but they'll start doing that back arching, and that's where the back arching starts to come from, if that answers your question. But again, that's what I'm saying off the vision.
Yeah, but it's like, so the movement lesson would consist of helping to facilitate the baby back to that weight transfer.
Right, right,
within
right.
themselves.
Yeah. You're not, the functional movement that you're looking for in a newborn is weight transfer. So if a baby, let's say, had a pulse ox though, just because they're back arching might not be the vision, let's say they had a pulse ox and an IV, leg IV, so the whole leg, let's say 2 days in the NICU was like this, right? So now I don't have this. So it could be another thing, you might see this. And you might see then the scooting start to happen. Or they might be back arching too because they can't flip over their leg, to do, so again, see how nicely the ankles start to move. But if this ankle's not moving, well, guess what? Then I can't look to the right.
So, yes.
So by checking the rotation on each part of the body, good, so tight, that's where you'll start to catch where that system is having a conversation where it's not available to respond to stimuli. And a baby can only respond to stimuli through rotation.
A baby can only respond to stimuli through rotation.
Right.
In a healthy way.
Right. Now, I'm not saying you can't stick a flashlight in the eye and you're going to get a pupil response. That's, yes, that is, but that again is not a functional movement.
So the
Up to what stage?
Sorry. One more and then what? What?
So I know I'm just getting that in my head. So the response to the stimuli, or the response to the stimuli is
Their world.
yes, the world. It's in tune with the stimuli because the stimuli is moving like that as well. So they're going to be.
Yes and no, like I was sitting here, but as you saw, the child did not fixate on me. I got a acknowledgement, let's say.
Yeah.
So he responded to me as stimuli, but that doesn't mean, but all of that happened because he was able to rotate. And so that's what starts to set up the cognitive formation in the brain. It's a small window, and then it starts developing into, again, purposeful movement that we see as sucking and feeding and those kind of, and then always slowly starting to grab at an object, but that's the beginning of movement as we know it. Sorry, and you were going to say, I'm
I
right.
was just going to ask, up to what age they keep responding to stimuli?
Well, they should be, just like you're responding to stimuli right now. That continues. But you're at a stage that if I tied you up with duct tape and stuck you like Clockwork Orange, and I'm showing my age, you probably don't even know what that is. If I stuck you in front of a TV, let's say, or the internet, you are still going to be able to learn without rotation. But if you're looking at an immature nervous system, if you do not have these components, the brain is not setting up that for learning and progressing the way that you would see in a quote typical child. So yes, stimuli, you're reacting right now. You have a t-shirt on and I have a sweatshirt on. So the room temperature in here is different to you than it is to me. We have different sneakers on, different haircuts. You're a man, I'm a woman. So you're reacting to maybe a baby crying is maybe irritation versus with me it could be pleasure. So just to say that the world is perfect, we could be in a butterfly garden right now, but if you don't like insects, that's not the place you want to be. So we all have our developments that have happened that what is a perfect world for you is a completely different environment for me. So, but I've tried to create this training that it's almost like a big happy family so the kids can interact and go in and be happy and feed. He's still feeding? Okay, sorry, I couldn't tell from here. I didn't know if you were holding it. No, feed away. Don't rush because of my account. And I don't know, is it a good time since he's
Probably
eating?
good.
Why don't we all eat?
Yeah.
And so that way he can be comfortable and we'll break now. How does that seem?
feeding off Alice.
Oh, Judith is here. Now we can eat because I'm sure she brought a goodie. So,
Should we say 15 minutes at the provision, 20 minutes?
okay.
Yeah.